Are you ready to experience art in all its various forms this September? Hello, welcome to my channel. Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and for the third year in a row, I am a co-host for Framed in September. This is an event celebrating art in all its various forms. Traditionally, when a lot of people think about art, they immediately think of painting and drawing. But we're expanding that definition. Architecture, sculpture, dance, music, photography, writing, even things like quilting can definitely count as art. And we're encouraging people to go out and experience art for themselves this September. Elizabeth at Bookins and Books was the original creator of Framed in September. She's taking a break from BookTube, but the other co-hosts are keeping the event going. Hannah at Hannah's Books, Heather at Heather Gregg, Mike at Riff Raff's Reading Renaissance, Joshua at Joshua Reads, and me. All of us should be releasing announcement videos encouraging people to experience art in whatever way appeals to them. We do have some prompts for you that you can follow, but you don't have to follow them. They're really rather simple. Prompt number 1, read a book, fiction or nonfiction, focusing on art. That could be a story of an artist, a painter, writer, dancer, musician, sculptor, architect, or anyone else living an artistic life. Or you can read nonfiction, exploring an artist, an artistic movement, a particular work of art, or really any aspect of art that interests you. The choice is yours. Of course, this is BookTube, so we're encouraging people to read books. But reading isn't the only way you can participate, because prompt number 2 is experience a work of art. Go to a museum, go to a gallery, see a live concert, go see dance or theatrical performance. It's entirely up to you what kind of art you want to experience. The idea is simply to get out there and experience art firsthand. And there is a bonus prompt, if you dare. Create some art, or tell us about a work of art that is important to you. Now, I'm not an artist. If I tried to draw a human figure, it would probably look like a child's version of a stick figure. I have no particular talent for drawing or painting. But I know at least 2 friends here on BookTube who are artists. Big Hard Books and Classics, that's Alan. He's a talented artist, so he could certainly create his own work of art for the event. My friend Bad is Rad is another artist. Maybe I should needle her into creating something. And I'm sure there are other people in our community who can create art in many different forms. But here's the important thing. You don't have to be particularly talented. Create something anyway. Draw, paint, take photographs, play music, quilt, dance, write a poem, make something, make a video. Or if creating art isn't your thing, tell us about a piece of art that is important to you. For example, that's a very nice and rather expensive piece of artwork behind me by Anne Katie. I was going to talk about it during my first year in Framed in September, but I came down with COVID and my productivity for the event pretty much hit bottom because I wasn't feeling like making videos. Then I promised to talk about it during my second year as co-host. Didn't happen. So the third time is the charm, right? This September, I will finally talk about this piece by the Vermont artist, Anne Katie. And that's really all you have to do to participate in Framed in September. Art has been part of the human condition for a very, very long time. The oldest known cave art includes a hand stencil from Indonesia that has been dated to at least 67 and 800 years ago. The famous paintings in Larue, France, are roughly 17,000 to 22,000 years old. And I would bet people were singing and dancing back then too. No evidence, but they were doing it. Then there is the entire history of art. That's a story far too big for this video, but not too big to read about in Framed in September. Pick your favorite art form, your favorite era, your favorite artist, or your favorite style, and go for it. Before I reveal my pile of possibilities, I want to recommend a book that I read last year. A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. This is a short novel published in 1980 about Tom Burkin, a World War I veteran who comes to a small English village to uncover and restore a medieval wall painting in a church. Burkin is still carrying the psychological scars of the war, what people at the time might have called shell shock, and what we would now recognize as symptoms of PTSD. But the novel is also about healing, beauty, memory, and the restorative power of art. It's a wonderful little book and well worth your time. I'm also going to do something unusual with my reading for September. I'm already doing a project to read one short story every day throughout 2026. So for September, I'm going to try to select an art-related short story for every day of the month. I'm not sure I'll be able to fill out all 30 days with art stories, but I'm going to try. And I'm using a very broad definition of art. I'll be reading The Unknown Masterpiece by Henri de Balzac, about a painter obsessed with creating his masterpiece. For music, there's Sonny's Blues by James Baldwin, about a jazz musician and his troubled relationship with his brother. For photography, there's Blow Up by Julio Cortázar, in which a photographer becomes obsessed with something he may or may not have captured in a photograph. Then there's A Hunger Artist by Franz Kafka, which takes us into a very strange territory of performance art. And one of the stories I'll be reading is about tattooing. It's called Ink and Void by M.A.J., and it appeared in the anthology Look at Our Holes, edited by Juan Valencia, another booktuber who had a channel plagued by visions. The author of this short story also happens to be a friend and fellow booktuber. I'm not going to tell her I'm mentioning her story in this video. Let's see how long it takes her to notice. Those are just 5 of the stories I found so far. I will put my larger list of possibilities down in the description of this video. But I still don't have 30. So if you know a great short story involving art or an artist, especially something involving an unusual art, please leave a suggestion in the comments. I have room for more stories. As for my other reading, I have a pile of possibilities, but no locks. First is Monsters, A Fan's Dilemma by Claire Dederer. This book asks a difficult question. What do we do when artists whose work we love have done terrible things? How do we balance our moral judgment of an artist with our love of the art they created? Can or should we separate the art from the artist? This was actually the book I intended to read my first Framed in September. Then my second. Maybe the third time really is the charm, and I'll finally get around to reading it. Next is Arrogance by Joanna. In this novel, the Austrian artist Egon Schnell comes to life through the fictionalized and unconventional narrative. Schnell considered himself a genius and was a protege of Gustav Klimt. He repeatedly challenged the artistic and sexual boundaries of early 20th century Europe. He was even imprisoned following accusations involving his sexually explicit art and his relationship with young models. Then, in 1918, at only 28 years old, Schnell died during the influenza pandemic. Arrogance was a finalist for the PEN/Faulkner Award. I haven't read it, but it's been sitting on my shelves for about 30 years. Maybe it's time. And then there is Conversations with a Clown by Michael Welzenbach. This is a novel of ideas built around a dialogue between an art critic and Pierrot, the famous Harlequin figure who has appeared in the work of artists for centuries. Pierrot has been around for about 500 years, so naturally he has developed some opinions about art. The novel moves through art and history, while its characters debate the nature and meaning of art. I actually read this novel when it was first published. I don't remember many of the details anymore, but I remember being captivated by its strange and illuminating conversations about art. As far as I know, it's a novel that gets almost no attention nowadays. It's out of print. Maybe it's time for a reread. I also want to use Framed in September to develop a habit. Along with reading a short story every day, I want to spend some time every day looking closely at famous works of art. For that, I have 1001 Paintings You Must See Before You Die, edited by Stephen Farthing. 30 days, 30 short stories, 30 paintings. We'll see how I do. Lastly, I need to visit an art museum. I don't know of any special exhibitions going on near me at the moment, but I can always take the train to Washington, D.C. and visit one of the Smithsonian museums, or drive to Richmond and visit the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. I have options. So those are my plans for Framed in September. I hope you'll join us and experience art in fiction, nonfiction, and in person, and maybe even create some art of your own. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading, and keep on looking for art.